This video is sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. If you need to order anything from the newest set, Wilds of Eldraine, or the upcoming Doctor Who set, check out my link in the description of this video. Hey guys, wanted to do something a little bit different for you today. I know we don't do a lot of deck techs here on the channel, but I have a new deck that I'm really loving and I need to share it with you guys. The commander of this deck is Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer, which if you pay attention to 60 card formats, he's an all-star. You probably know what he does, but if you're primarily a commander player, you might not know who he is. For 1 red mana, a monkey pirate, 2/1, whenever he deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, exile the top card of that player's library, and until the end of turn, you may cast that card, and then he also has a dash cost for 1 and a red. I think this is awesome because there are certain decks in Commander where Ragavan is good, but he's not typically that good as a commander himself, but I really wanted to do it anyways. Also, we have to say that this new March of the Machine legendary showcase frame is it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. So the way I built this deck is I really just went all in on Ragavan's ability. I want to use this as a way to play my opponent's spells. This video is coming out after MagicCon Vegas, but I just built it. I'm recording this a little bit before Vegas. I'm taking it with me. I'm really excited to get some games in and see this as a way to see more of my opponent's decks, which I think is a really fun thing to do when you're playing with people you haven't played before and get a better idea on what their playstyle is like. The problem with going all in on Ragavan's abilities, though, is that, well, you can't play lands off of what he hits, and he's only a 2/1, so he's pretty easy to block. So a large amount of the deck is just dedicated to getting around those things. So to give him evasion, make sure that he can get in and always make contact, we have cards like Prowler's Helm and Trailblazer Boots, just to make sure that it's unlikely that our opponents are going to be able to block him. And then so that we can exile multiple cards from our opponents to increase the likelihood of hitting something we can actually play. We have cards like Blood Mist and Grappling Hook to give him double strike. And then we also have cards like Savage Beating and Hexplace Wallbreaker in order to get additional combats and swing out again. Imagine extra combat with the double strike. Ooh, that would be fun. And then while Ragavan is making treasure tokens, which means he's increasing the likelihood of us being able to play the spells that we're exiling from our opponents. We are a mono red deck, so we really need a lot of treasures. So we do have other cards that make treasures, and luckily a lot of the newer card advantage cards in red are cards that discard a card to draw a card, but you also get treasure tokens. So cards like Unexpected Windfall and Seize the Spoils are great cards in this deck for 1 card advantage, but also to give us more treasures. Being a mono red deck, and there's 5 colors in Magic, we're going to want to find other ways to also help filter through our mana to increase the chances of us playing those spells. A couple great examples are Chromatic Star and Chromatic Sphere. These are really good examples because they also draw us a card. And then we have a couple lands that filter mana as well, like Unknown Shores and Crystal Grotto. And then we have ways to make our mana base and stuff better fit to play against other colors as well. In the Mana Rock territory, we have Chromatic Lantern and Felwar Stone, which I don't think anyone really typically plays those in monocolored decks, but they're pretty good here. And then with Felwar Stone, we also have Exotic Orchard, which is kind of playing off the same idea. If our opponent is playing like a Sultai deck or something, well, if we have Felwar Stone or Exotic Orchard out, we should be able to play whatever spells we're exiling from that opponent. We're also running Urborg and Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, which are also weird picks for monocolor decks. This doesn't break the rules of Commander because even though they look like black and green cards, they're not because they don't have any of the pips. So this doesn't break the color identity rule, which is kind of funny actually. And then we have a couple other lands that also are just going to make sure that we are always getting the right colors. We have lands like Mana Confluence and City of Brass. And then if something happens and we're not being able to utilize Ragavan all that much, we do have cards like Chaos Wand so that we can keep playing more of our opponent's deck just for funsies. Now, how does the deck win? Well, there's a good chance that this isn't going to go very well for us, especially because commander decks nowadays are very high synergy. So me just playing a bunch of random cards from a bunch of random other decks is probably not all that helpful or that eventful. But I wanted to make sure that whatever the win con for this deck, it still had to do with using stuff from your opponent. So I do have cards like Insurrection and Mob Rule, which, yeah, I know these are kind of cheap, boring ways to win in mono red, but they work and it is on theme with winning on as far as using your opponent's cards against them. If you want to see the entire deck list, I will have a link to it in the description of this video. And while you're down there in the description, if you need to order anything from Wilds of Eldraine, the upcoming Doctor Who crossover, I think you can use that link to also get some pre-orders in for Caverns of Ixalan coming up. That would help out the channel a lot. Thank you again for Wizards of the Coast for sponsoring this video. And let me know in the comments if you like these weird deck techs, if you'd like to see other decks that myself or anyone else here behind the scenes at Geek and Seek have made, or or if there's just something weird like Ragavan, you know, a weird legendary creature that it's a good card but not a good commander, we could try doing more deck techs like this. And also, if you met me in MagicCon Vegas and you got to play against this deck, let me know what you thought of it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more Magic the Gathering content, and I'll see you guys next time.